when we announced that we were going to have Kim Kardashian at our conference, we got a lot of interesting reaction on Twitter. Like, why would we do this? And everyone has different opinions, and some of them not so nice. But I just want to give you some statistics. And I don't feel like I should be defensive, and I don't know why I am. Kim has 20.5 million followers on Instagram. She has 24.8 million followers on Twitter. She has 24 million followers on Facebook. And an unusual success, just recently, her mobile game was one of the top games on iPhone, garnering tens of millions of dollars in profit for her and the company Glue. She's clearly got something going on and figured something out about the mobile area, and also what it means to be a mobile celebrity. Hollywood is changing fast, and mobile's been a critical part of it. And here is someone who continues to have success and continues to get questioned about that success. So I thought it would be a very interesting discussion about what it takes to be successful, and also and what the mobile world means for the world of celebrity and how you succeed in it. And here's someone who really has had a lot of success. And when I talked to all these companies, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, I said, who should I have to talk about mobile celebrity? And they all said Kim Kardashian, which was fascinating. And so we got her. So Kim, come on out. We just had a very riveting discussion backstage about all kinds of things mobile, and all sorts of stuff. Kim was at the Giants game last night.
I was.
I saw it all on Instagram. So let's start with talking about what is the issue with you. Why do people not take you seriously, given success after success? It's kind of interesting, especially as you've morphed the success. I mean,
perfect first question.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I don't know. I think that is a question that sometimes I get frustrated with. Mm-hmm. I pride myself in my work ethic, and I work really hard. So I think that, you know, I think that sometimes when people hear that I might have gotten success off of a reality show,
right,
they take that as a negative. Mm-hmm. So I think that you know, we're filming our 10th season right now, and we've had, I think, 9 seasons of spin-offs. Mm-hmm. So our show, I mean, we have more episodes than I Love Lucy. I mean, we have so many amazing milestones that people don't really stop and think about. Mm-hmm. And I'm so proud of the show that I would love to continue it to go on as long as it could possibly go. Just, I mean, because it's fun and because I love spending time with my family, but also because I really, I love to prove people wrong, and I love people to get to take the time to understand me and to really see what I'm about. And I think the longer we're on air, the longer they have that opportunity. Mm-hmm. And we have such a wide fan base and range. So, but I don't know. I think maybe because they see on the show when you film every day at your home with your family, you're at your most comfortable
You guys
state.
are the ultimate oversharers, correct?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. And sometimes, you know, to some people, it might be too much oversharing, or there's too much, you know, maybe glitz or glamour, or feel like they think it comes easy. And people don't understand when you are, even though it is reality. I wake up every single day at 6 a.m. and you know, go to the gym and, you know, get my daughter up, feed my baby, get ready, film all day. Sometimes don't finish until, you know, 8 or 9 p.m. And that's every single day, 6 days a week for 5 months straight when we're filming. Mm-hmm. And so that in itself is a full-time job mixed in with, you know, every other project that we're working on. And I just, unfortunately, I just don't think reality TV gets the respect that it deserves. And
well, should it get respect? I mean, is there, you know, we now have this sort of sharing world. And again, you are like the Olympics of sharing, pretty much. I mean, I don't know. You would get a gold medal for it, but you started it before. You started a long time. It's just been ongoing. What prompted you to, because it moves perfectly into the mobile world, like, because sharing is that's what it's all about, is you have this phone.
Yeah, I mean, I've always just been open. I've always been super open with my life, and that's just who I am. And it's worked out because that's how my family is too, so we can be really candid. And it's kind of the irony because my husband is completely the opposite. You know, he doesn't have
And yet
Instagram.
we know so much about him now. He's all over Instagram now with you.
Yeah. But, you know, I don't know why I started it, but I love it. And I think my career is so heavily based on social media and has become, I think so many opportunities have come my way because of the mobile space.
Do you think some of it is that they think it's fake, that they think that you're just making this stuff up on social media, or that you create these sort of faux worlds, or not? Or do you think it's genuine?
So.
I personally think it's because it's actually what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't think they read it as fake. I think when you share so much of your world, I mean, you're sharing intimate moments from sometimes getting a facial or being at the dentist, you can just Instagram a photo of. So I don't see that, you know, connection, but, you know, I love sharing my life.
So is there anything, let's talk about sharing, then I want to talk about how you look at mobile, because I think people will be surprised by some of the ways that you practice mobile. Is there too much sharing in the world? I mean, you're someone who does. You do the dentist. You were at I know everything you do, kind of. It's really interesting. And I think we all do. And believe me, you're talking to someone, a fellow traveler in that area. I do it a lot, but I think about it a lot with my kids, although they're oversharers too. Is there a limit to it, or do you feel like this is what's helped make your celebrity, is that your whole life is sort of an open book?
I think it's definitely helped make my celebrity, and so, I love sharing, but I do think there are limits to it, and I think you have to have boundaries. And
well, do you have any? What are your boundaries?
I do. It took me a while to get to share things with my daughter. I was really hesitant about that for a while, and I still don't post all the things that we do on a daily basis, where I see some of my friends, their Instagrams are all of their, you know, their children. So I am, you know, protective over that. I am protective over my relationship sometimes with oversharing about that, because I've made mistakes and I think overshared in the past.
Yes.
Which I think sometimes could be, it didn't work out for me that way.
Okay.
So I felt like
any particular
I would try.
sharing that you'd like to take back?
I'm sure I'd have to look at some things. I mean, I love hair and makeup and the glam process, and I share a lot about that and tips and tricks, and I'm fascinated by the beauty blogger space and YouTube and how so many different beauty bloggers have, you know, risen to fame just off of their tutorials. I look at them, we do fun tutorials all the time, me and my makeup artists and hairstylists. So there's probably some glam moments where I thought, what was I thinking, and why am I wearing that color lipstick, and why did I post that?
So let's talk about the mobile environment, and we're going to get to your game too, because I think people, again, one of the things I think is interesting with you is that you use social media to bypass the media, because the media can be very dismissive of you, make fun of you, you become a cartoon, and you did become a cartoon in this game. But you seem to be bypassing media to go right to your fans.
Yes.
Talk about that. Like,
well,
why
I
is
love that connection. I think that when I first started MySpace, that
was where you first started doing stuff.
Friendster, and then it was mostly just friends.
What were you doing
at school.
on Friendster? You were in high school?
Just trying to see friends that I had, you know, or reconnect with people that I maybe went to high school with. And then it moved on to MySpace, and that was a whole new world for me. You can, you know, communicate with people internationally that you didn't even know who they were. And I would really write back to so many people, all these different people that I didn't even know, and that was fascinating to me, that you can just connect with people across the world, or, you know, see, and then Twitter really became my form of Google for a second, and I would just get on Twitter and ask, you know, what are the reviews on this movie, and what do you think of this, and does anyone know where, you know, to go eat in this city? And I would.
Why did you like Twitter? What was the part?
I really love Twitter. I love communicating with people. It's just it's an amazing focus group. I would ask people, what color fragrance bottle should I use? This shade of pink or this shade of pink? And I would twit pick a photo, and I would get a response back, and it was fascinating to me, and I would use that real information and use it in my everyday life. I mean, I just loved communicating with people, and I still use it all the time, and I love to ask questions and see the instant responses, and I could be jet lagged across the world and write something on Twitter and feel like there were people that I can communicate with. And it's fascinating to me.
You're talking about loneliness,
Yes.
So you started on these other medias, and then you quickly moved into the mobile space.
Yes.
So you can communicate directly with these fans.
Yes.
How quickly did it take you to get to those numbers? Because they're among the highest numbers of celebrity. I think you're higher than Obama. I believe by a lot.
That's like mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
It is pretty.
What do you
insane.
think? Why do you think people sign up to watch you?
I think because I am so open.
Right.
You know, I think.
Now you do these yourself. You said this.
Yes.
Absolutely. You don't have a team of people.
I don't have a team.
I didn't see any chasing you around.
Yeah, no, I don't have a team. I love to, if the whole connection is me with other people, I don't want someone else. It makes no sense to have
Did
that
you
connection.
think about that? You were
No.
puzzled when I said there were people that had that. You don't have anybody doing any of your social media.
No, that doesn't make sense.
So
to me.
how much time do you spend with your phone? And we're going to talk about
Probably
your choice
too
of
much.
phone. Yeah.
Probably too much. But you know, I do have my boundaries and my limits of when I'm at home. My friends know when I'm just with my daughter and my husband when I don't respond to them on, you know, or I'm not even writing anything on social media.
So which of these medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you use them quite heavily. I think you had like 7 posts today already. You were at the Giants game last night. You were with Barry Bonds. Like, again, I know everything you're doing. I feel like a stalker.
I try not to overdo it though, because
Right.
I thought I only did like 2 today.
You only
So
did 2
I'll
today.
have to check.
So which one do you like best? Which right now? What's the one that you enjoy?
I'm loving Instagram.
Why is that?
I think you can just be really creative and share a little bit more intimate. It has a little bit more texture than just words, obviously, because there's a photo. But I think you can share so much. I mean, whatever you want, you can do it on your own social
Do you
media.
do more pictures of yourself? I mean, you did.
Oh, yes.
There was a lovely one
I
of
am
your
notorious.
husband's hand on your butt. That was nice. That was an enjoyable picture. Did you worry about putting that one up at all? Or?
No,
No.
I didn't. I don't really worry about what I put up. I mean, maybe beforehand I'll show a couple people, whether it's like my sisters. If I can't decide between 1 or 2 photos, I don't like to put. I have a 3-image rule if it's like in the same setting. I
Right.
try not to do more than 3 if it kind of looks the same, because that's just overkill.
Okay.
And I don't like when people post too much.
That's interesting.
Then
That's an interesting thing to say.
It oversaturates my feed, and
Right.
I like
Right.
to have, I like to be
And
inspired.
do
by
you
all
worry
the
about how many
places.
responses you get? Like you got
No.
1 million on one of you and Kanye and only 600-some thousand on another one. Do you worry about those numbers or think about them?
No, I don't.
All right. So you don't use Snapchat, correct?
I don't.
Why is that?
I don't know. Sometimes there's just too much out there, and I know my little sisters use it, and they like it, and some of my friends use it, but to be honest, I just don't have the time.
So
right now.
when you're thinking about using all these things, do you think of them more as a Kim thing or a Kim the brand thing? Or is there any disconnection between those two
I don't
things?
think there's a disconnect. It's the same person.
Right.
I think I think sometimes you might not see every side of me because I do have my at-home family life when
What would
there's
that
no
tweet
cameras.
be? What would that be? What would be the at-home?
I mean, I wouldn't share that. So
All right, okay.
that would
You should
be-
share it with the stream.
I mean, there's just a way more private side to me that's a very small side because I share so much. But there is just the intimate moments when I'm at home with giving my daughter a bath and we're just being silly that I don't share.
Right.
And
Well, so do you see it as a branding mechanism for your celebrity, or how do you look
No.
at through Hollywood and people using all these? Because you're very successful. What do you do that's different? 'Cause other people do try it.
well, I think at the beginning I would post a lot of things that were product related.
Right.
And over time, I really made a conscious decision to not post things like that and not post, or I would just post so many things even if I loved them.
Right.
And people would assume that they were sponsored things.
Right.
Because I was posting
I
so
assume they
many.
are, yeah.
But I just really wanted my fans, I kind of look at them like they're my sisters or my,
Yeah.
like an extended
Do you
family.
get paid
that
for
I'm-
any of those? Which ones? Or is it just pushing Kardashian kind of things?
If you have, like let's say if I'm the sponsor for a a drink and I do a commercial and an ad campaign,
Right.
in the contract they say, can you do a tweet a month about it, something like that. But it's not like, hey, this tweet, you're getting paid just to tweet. It's for an overall
Have you ever taken money
campaign.
just to tweet?
Nothing that I could think of.
But it's stuff. A lot of stuff is what you like, and then you're pushing.
But there was a rumor that I
There
got like $10,000 a tweet, and I was like, I would be tweeting every 2 seconds if that was true.
Okay, all right.
But
What would it cost for you to tweet? More than 10,000, right?
probably.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get to your other mobile thing, the game part. And I want to get to the devices. Backstage, Kim said something unusual to me. She said she'd like to buy the company BlackBerry if she could, which
If
possibly
I
could after your success with your game.
If I could, I love a BlackBerry, and every time I say that, people are like horrified that I have a BlackBerry, and I don't understand that reaction.
Well, because it's antiquated in the Model T of phones right now. That's
But
why.
I just a BlackBerry. It's my heart and soul. Like I love it. I'll never get rid of it. And I do have an iPhone.
Yeah.
And I use that for photos. And,
Right.
But I just, if you have to handle an email and you have to type fast, I need to feel that bored.
Why are
And
you typing fast? You mad at someone or what?
sometimes if you're sometimes if I'm furious at something and I need to angrily write a message or just
What BlackBerry do you use? But it's not very good for social media, right? You use the iPhone for social media.
I use the iPhone for social media, or sometimes I'll just send up a twit pic on my BlackBerry. I use an older one though, and they don't even have it in the stores anymore. And I buy them on eBay, and it's a Bold.
Right. Okay.
It's the BlackBerry Bold, and I have like 3 lined up in my room. So if they break, I have them and then if one breaks and I'm down to 2, I search on eBay until I find that third.
Right. Okay.
I have anxiety that I will run out and I won't be able to have a black. I'm afraid it'll go extinct.
It will go extinct, Kim. It's going.
I'm on a mission to make
Okay.
that not happen.
Okay. So have you gone to Waterloo to discuss it with them?
I have not.
Why don't you
but
become a BlackBerry spokesmodel?
I feel like I should.
Okay.
I'm going to make some calls after this.
Okay. So you use a BlackBerry and
Yes.
not the new one, the Passport. You don't like the Passport, right?
I haven't actually turned it on, but it was a little larger. Since I have 2, I need them to just,
You need to be able to just quickly do it.
carry
And
it
then you
around.
use an iPhone for social media.
yes.
Do you
and
use any
photos.
Android device?
I don't.
You don't, because?
Don't. Because I'm kind of at that point. More than 2 phones, you have, issues. Or some major serious business to do. So
Right.
I don't want to offend anyone if you have 3 phones. I did have
that's funny.
the Samsung Galaxy.
Yeah.
I had that. That takes the best pictures.
Right.
Over any phone you can imagine.
Right.
Yeah.
And
so.
what happened?
I have service on that, but I just have a hard time having
And then
3
Kanye
phones.
said that thing about Samsung, correct? Yes.
Maybe.
Okay.
I'm not gonna quote
so
him.
we have just a few more minutes, and then we're gonna have a couple questions to the audience.
Okay.
The game.
Yes.
So you were doing all the social media, quite successful, and then you got
Yeah.
into a game, which no one expected you. This was a game they tried before, and it didn't
Yes.
work.
Yes.
Then it became hyper successful. Now, some people think you shouldn't be pushing shopping, although I think there's more violence issues about women in video games that people could focus on a little bit more than shopping. I think on the continuum of women getting shot and raped in video games and shopping, I feel like shopping is probably okay. But in terms of why it's successful, why did you go into it? Now, you didn't, people wanted me to ask you if you programmed it, which I thought was an idiotic question, but what involvement did, yes, I'm a computer genius off to the side, but what did you do for them, besides lend your name?
It wasn't just that. This was at a point when I felt like my career was going to be very overexposed. Some, you might already think it's overexposed, but I really had this family meeting. My mom's my manager, and I said, we have to pull back on everything. I don't want to do any other project. I really want to just focus on my existing projects and not just take on too much. Mm-hmm. They came to me with this idea, and I said, if I get full control, and I flew down to San Francisco. I loved the Glue team and everything they wanted to do. It was an existing game called Stardom. And we were basically
Which was
making
not successful.
I didn't.
It was not. They've said it.
Okay.
All right.
They said it. I'm not going to. But I loved their vision for me and what they had. And I thought it was a fun, entertaining game. That's all I really wanted to do. I'm not, I wasn't trying to make anything else but an entertaining game. And I must have redone the look of my character about 7 times.
What was the problem?
Just little tiny details, and I really wanted it to look like me. And I feel like after our meetings, their team was so amazing, and I feel like they got really inspired, and I got more inspired, and I must have spent weeks getting clothing references of what I wanted all of the clothing to look like, and the characters and hair references and makeup references, and they took such amazing direction on that. And it's an everyday job for me. I mean, I get up and it's approving, everything. And I think the success on the game is a lot because we work really hard at it, but I think also it's so lifelike and it mirrors my life so much. And we were doing an update to go to Mexico, and I hadn't told the team, but I was going on vacation in Mexico. And they launched the update the same day I leave for this Mexico trip, and I was so nervous because we wanted to go privately and not have anyone, see we were on vacation. But they wanted me to, I was going to start Instagramming and doing social media around our new update. So once the paparazzi had found our vacation spot and realized we were in Mexico, I started doing all these updates, and everyone felt like, wow, you're in Mexico and I'm in Mexico on your game. Right. And we're wearing the same bikini that, in the game, and I just had a photo shoot here, and everything I was doing, they were mirroring that in my game. And even though that was kind of an accident of what
it's also slightly
had
freaky,
happened,
by the way.
Yes, it is. We've realized that formula really worked for us.
So wherever Kim goes, the game goes.
Exactly, and we've mapped out the whole next year of my travel plans and making updates for those certain countries and cities. And
so what do you do now? Are you going to do a new game? Because the games, they tend to go up and down, and this one's gone down again. It was way up, which is an accomplishment, but it's gone down again. Do you want to do a new game or something else?
Well, I think we're going to add in more characters.
The rest of the Kardashians are coming?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, how could they not, really?
And lots of fun holiday updates, and we now have this feature where your character can FaceTime with me, and I actually, not the character, but I actually pop up and give them advice and talk to them on FaceTime in the game. So we have lots of fun things that are coming up that will really, I think, get people excited and spark their interest again. And it's really fun and exciting to see all of these things come to life when you work really hard at it.
So if it starts to go down again, do you imagine doing a different thing?
The numbers got down, and then they're going back up, so that's
the
exciting.
Bikini in Mexico presumably being the factor that changed things. So what are you going to do? Are you going to do more games? Because games is an unusual thing for you to go into. What's the next mobile thing that you're super interested in?
Well, I was at the Glue
Besides
offices
owning BlackBerry.
today. And we have some amazing ideas of some future games that are a little bit different than what we have going with, Kim Kardashian Hollywood. But still, I love the character and I love the brand that we've created. So still within that same brand, but expanding it to different types of games.
Worries at all about girls making these in-app purchases? I mean, believe me, I have kids. My kid made $3,000 worth of in-app purchases in 15 minutes, so I get that. But are you...
my game?
No, not on your game. He's not playing Kim Kardashian Hollywood. He's playing I don't know what he's playing, honestly. But what are you worried about that idea of is that where you're making the most money? Because Facebook's doing some ads, Opera's doing some various things for you. Where do you imagine that being the big money maker for you?
Well, I think that, with all, parental controls, I think as long as you need a password for every time that you buy something. So as long as your kids don't excessively use it, I don't see it being a problem. But yeah, we make money since it is a free game. We make money in-app purchases, advertising that we don't have a whole lot of in the game.
How much money did you make from it, personally? What? How much?
Well, I never talk dollars.
Okay.
Cents. I never do.
Well, you can talk rubles or euros. I don't know.
It surprisingly did very well for me.
Are those numbers that were written about correct or close? This
I
was
think
$70 million.
I think sometimes numbers are always, nothing is always fully accurate, but it could be more, it could be less.
Oh.
It's been very good to me.
Last question,
very
and then
happy.
we're going to have just time for 2 quick questions from the audience, if anybody has any. What do you imagine doing next in mobile? How do you look at celebrities now with the mobile world? They don't seem to use it as much as you do.
I think that everything is moving into mobile. I mean, I see myself having, from my projections, a long career in this space. We have some really fun, exciting things coming out that we've been brainstorming on, and I just think everything, whether it's, I have clothing stores and I see everything moving to
Mobile commerce, so you
yeah.
can see yourself doing mobile commerce and all stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And again, with the last question from the beginning, why you? Because, you were an assistant to Paris Hilton, is that correct?
I was not her assistant, but I had a eBay closet organizing company, and she was one of my clients.
Okay. She's gone up and down thinking, what is it? Like, I'm fascinated. I haven't been able to answer it myself. What do you think it is that translates well into the mobile environment?
I think that I don't think I could have done it without my family. I think that no matter what, even though some of the things we go through seem pretty crazy and intensified, we're real and we're somewhat normal to where at least you feel like you can relate. And I think that has, or maybe want to vicariously live through what they see our lives to be. But then I think that they feel this really strong bond and closeness.
And then immediacy with the mobile.
Yeah, and what we're doing, you can really see, you can just feel it. I mean, we're so open, and every single one of us is that way. And I feel like there's just some kind of connection. I can't quite answer why me and not someone else.
Could you do a whole show on a mobile device? All Vines?
I think you could.
Will you?
I don't know.
Oh, she just
about
had an
that.
idea. Uh-oh. All right, quick 2 questions from the audience, if there's any. Everybody get up. Someone's got to have a question for Kim Kardashian. West?
Hi, Kim. I'm Erica Jacobs. Question about fashion and technology. So there's some interesting things going on. There's internet-connected clothing. We all saw what was happening at Fashion Week. What are you interested in? Because we know this will drive some of the interest that we see coming in internet-connected clothing, wearables. What are you keeping your eye on?
You don't wear Google Glass, correct?
I do not.
Why not?
I just can't. I don't know. I don't. I try to
You
be.
do now. You
I
just
try
don't
to be
wanna say
really
anything.
cautious and not ever, hurt anyone's feelings. They're just not for me.
Okay. Would you wear a wearable shirt that takes all
don't.
your information?
I don't
Wearable
think so.
pants?
No.
Why not?
Again, it's just not for me.
Okay, all right. Any other question right here?
Hi, Harry Cargman from Cargo. Quick question. Between your sort of social media outlets and TV, which to you is actually more important and drives more interest in, I guess, you as a human being?
Well, on the show, I always say that we have these home movies over the past decade that are so well shot, well lit, and really special memories that my family and I can have for the rest of our lives and show them to, our kids and their kids. And the show is what started my career and is like my baby. I'm like the most proud of that. Social media is, I think, what is allowed my career to sustain, and I've kind of adapted with just the change of it all. I've been, I take it also really seriously. I love that connection with everyone, so I think they mean 2 different things to me. And I love them. I really do love them both, and I think they show different sides of me. The show, is taped and then aired a couple months later. So something could be out on social media, and we've filmed the process. And usually in social media or just media, it could be a completely different story than the truth. But we have the show that really captured it all. So when it airs, they're like, oh, I remember that story that was out there and the media kind of got it wrong, and we're able to tell our story our way. But I do also use social media if sometimes I get frustrated to tell the truth on a story or if something's completely wrong. So I like them both for different reasons.
Great. Everybody, Kim Kardashian West.
Thank you.